1, 2, 3, 4, and underscores. A variable name can only start with an alphabet and underscore. So the variable name can only start with an alphabet and underscore. So you can start a variable with A, B, C, like all from alphabets, and you can also start the variable with underscores. A variable name can't start with a digit. This is really important. A variable name cannot start with a digit. No spaces are allowed to use inside a variable name. So we'll just see. So now I am naming a variable CSI, and I am assigning the value as 34 to it. Now if I print the CSI, it is obvious that it just prints 34. Yeah. So what if I name a variable with underscore? I need to obviously change over here also. If I name with an underscore also, it is just accepting. So, okay, we'll try with some digit. Yeah, as when I entered a digit, it is just showing some a red mark, and it just obviously throws an error. Invalid decimal literal. It can't understand. So the variable must start with an alphabet or an underscore. And also there must not be any spaces in between the letters. Like if I give a space for I, yeah, it obviously shows a squiggle and it throws some error. So now we are going to operators in Python. So what are operators? So operators are nothing but these are entities where you can perform some operations on operands. So there are two different things which you need to be aware of: operators and operands. So consider the two variables A and B. Okay, I am performing some unknown operation. Let us assume that like X, the operation name is X, and we are performing some operation. So this is called an operation. This is called an operator exactly. And these, the A and B, are called operands. These are the variables which are intended to perform the operations are known as operands. We have some different types of operators in Python. Where for the first one is arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators are those operators which just include a plus, minus, multiplication, division, and etc. And we do have some assignment operators. So assignment operators are like equal to, and these like plus equal to and minus equal to, these are called as compound assignment operators, where you can assign a single thing to itself. So it just becomes a compound assignment operator. And these are called comparison operators, like equal to, greater than, equal to, not equal to, etc. These are used when a situation arises to compare two entities. These comparison operators are used, and there is another name for comparison operator. I think so. Yeah, it is a relational operator. The another name for comparison operator is called a relational operator. And we do also have some logical operators like and, or, and not. Some membership operators, in and not in. Membership operators are those where if you want to access a member from a particular data type, it just throws the value. We can access the value by using a membership operator. That is where like you can just get the member of the data type. That is why it named membership operator. And yeah, bitwise operators. You can see that the bitwise operators and logical operators are this similar. Like it just goes with and it is also and, it is or, it is also or, and it is XOR and it is not. So what's the main difference? So bitwise operators does work only on bits. It does not work on the normal code. It just only works in a bits, and we need to run this through your terminal. Your terminal may be partial or command prompt, or you can also use Unix or Bash. So here just goes with some identity operators. So identity operators are also similar to comparison operators. So identity operators just give you the output in Boolean firstly, and tells whether the two data types entered is true or not. That is the main thing of identity operators. We'll just see a code on all the operators once and just come on to typecasting. So I'm taking a variable of A as 40 and B as 50. And I'm performing some operations of that. So A and B are called operands, and the operation which I'm performing is like operator. I'm performing A into B. You can, by the way, you can assign the A into B to a variable and print that, or you can directly print that. So it just prints 40 into 50 and this throws the output. And if I divide it, just see a magic happens actually. If you just divide over, so this is the data type of integer, right? This is also a data type of integer. There is an exception in Python that although A and B are integer, when you use this division operator, it just returns in the value of float. It is 0.8. If it is 10 by 10, like if I take A as 10 and B as also 10, then it must return 1, right? But when you use division operator, it just returns in 1.0. That is floating point number. You have to be careful over there because you may mismatch with the data types there. It intentionally converts that. So if you want to avoid that, and if you want to get the output as desired output as integer, you can use double slashes for division. Then it just throws as an integer number, or you can typecast the thing. Let me get in typecasting in a moment or so. Yeah. So what are like assignment operators? Obviously, we have used an assignment operator over here. Like I am assigning the value of 10 to the A. Be really careful here. I'm assigning the value of 10 to A. And as I'm assigning the value of 10 to B. It is good when we have a constant value with the variable values. But a lot of confusion arises when we have two variables like A is equals to B and B is equals to A. As we have come from our 12th class, we are just intended in a thing that A is equals to B is also equal to B is equals to A. That is a most common intuition that we have followed from our 12th standards. But in Python or in any language, that is not equals. Like A is equals to B is one case and B is equals to A is another case. Neither of them will never become equal. You must be really careful there. Yeah, comparison. Yeah, assignment operators we have completed, and yeah, we are seeing compound assignment operators. Let just get into this. So now I'm assigning A is equals to A plus 10, and I just print A. And I run the code. So yeah, so 10 plus 10 is 20, just prints 20. So this is a normal operator with an assignment operator. I am assigning the value of A to itself. Be careful, I am assigning the value of A to itself. So what there is a shorthand notation of that, which is also called as a comparison, like compound assignment operators, where I can use plus equal to 10. I'll comment this, and the output will be same. Yeah, 20. So this plus equal to is obviously equal to A plus 10. A is equals to A plus 10, and A plus equal to 10 is both are both are same. And we have completed the compound assignment operator, and we are going to comparison operators. So I'm using a decision control statement. I will get into decision control statement for a moment, but just wait. A is greater than B. So I'll take the value of B as 30. If A is greater than B, then print A is greater. I just run the code. Obviously, it won't print anything. Why? because the value of A is smaller than the value of B. So to compare two entities, we use this operator called comparison operator. And logical operators. What if or A is less than B? Now you have remembered that there is no output because there is no else statement also, so there is no output. Obviously A is not greater. Now I am writing this output. Okay. Now here this OR statement is a logical OR. So what is the main function of logical OR is I just compares this and also compares this. If anything among these two becomes true, then it executes the statement. That's it. Yeah, it has printed the output because A is not greater than B, but A is less than B. That is why it is printing the output. So OR is that is how OR works. And if I use AND, so AND is a thing, AND is a logical operator where it compares this and it also compares this. If both the things becomes true, then only it executes. Else it won't execute the thing. That is the main difference between AND OR. And not is a simple thing where it inverts the output. If it is true, it just inverts to false. If it is false, it just inverts to true. That's it. And yeah, membership operator. Okay, we'll get into membership operator while we are dealing in list and in the for loop. We'll just use for I in range. So in is the thing where we discuss the membership operator. And yeah, bitwise operator. So for bitwise operator, we obviously need terminal. Let me just get to command prompt. So this is the command prompt. You can just type py. It redirects to the Python directory. And here you can use the thing. Now I am performing some AND OR operations. 3 or 4. It is printing 7. So how it is printing 7? First, this operator is just under a category called bitwise operators, right? So it just converts 3 into its binary value, and it also converts 4 into binary value. And we just get a truth table over there, like the value of binary of 3, we get a truth table, and also for a value of binary of 4, we get just get a truth table. It just compares the truth table, like just let me write the truth table for all the 3 things. So truth table for AND, so truth table for OR, and truth table for XOR. The truth table for AND is 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. If the both inputs are true, then only the AND function returns true. So obviously the both are false, so it returns false. If one is false, also it just goes to false, false. One is false, it obviously goes to false. If both are true, it just executes. In a similar way, if both the inputs are, if any of the input gets true, it just prints true. So both the inputs are false, it prints false. If the one is true here, so it just prints one. One output is true, it just prints one. Two outputs are true, then also it just prints one. And let me write XOR table here. So XOR table is like 0, 0, 1, 1 and 0, 1, 0, 1. The XOR table goes like if two outputs are same, it just returns false. If two outputs are not same, it just returns true. That's it. This is how XOR table works, and this is how AND OR tables work. And yeah, the NOT is just like x plus 1, minus of x plus 1, where x will be the quantity which you have, like x will be a variable where you have given. And we are going to identity operators. Like identity operators just compares the both things. It compares only the things of same data type. You must be really careful there because the comparison, if you compare 2.0 with 2 by using an identity operators, it returns it is false. Just see there. I just compare. Now I'm comparing with comparison operators. Okay, 2 is equals to 2.0. So this is a data type of integer and this is a data type of float. So now I am comparing these two. We know that 2 is equals to 2, right? We are comparing these two by using a comparison operator. So let's see what the output is. True. It returns true. But whereas if I use identity operator and compare these things, it returns false. And it also gives a syntax warning that the 2 is not true. It is false. Why? Because the the identity operator is only compares a similar data type, not of different data types. That we must be very careful of. Yeah. Coming on to type function and type casting. So what exactly a type function is? So type function is used to find the data type of a given variable in Python. So assume that you are running some big code and finally the output is some variable which you don't know. If you want to get the if you want to get the which data type is the variable is, then you need to use the function called type function. Okay. Let us see the type function. So I am taking the a variable a as CSI. We know that there is a string data type of string and type of a. I'll just print over here. So it is printing class string. Okay. Don't. It is printing class string. If I change this to some integer, this prints class int. Okay. If I change it to 20.898, it just prints some class float. So that is how the type function is used. And how is typecasting used? So yeah, first, what is a typecasting? So if you got the output in the form of an floating value or an integer, if you want to convert that floating value or an integer to a string, or from string to integer, or a string to float, it is multi-directional. You can convert any data type into any data type, any other data type, using a function called typecasting. Typecasting is a way to just change the data types. We'll just see how to typecast here. So obviously, let me take the value as 20. We know that the value of 20 is an integer. So now I need to show this as a floating point value. Okay. First I'll print this, print a. Okay. I'll just print a. Obviously, type of a. This prints the type class int. Okay. And now I'll typecast a. So int of float of a. I will assign it to a variable. So y is equals to float of a. I just typecasted the a with a typecasting function called float. Okay. And I print the type. Print of type of float y. Now you can see the class int and the class float. So we have converted the int to float. Exactly. Yeah. Now we are going to input function. The input function is a function which allows the user to take input from the keyboard as a string. So if you want to take input from the user, you have to use the function called input function. Let me demonstrate the input function also. So a is equals to input of enter the number. Okay. So a is equals to a plus 10. I'll just take this and print this. So from that time, you are just entering the value of a like static value. It is a static value, which is also known as user defined, hard coded. Now we are defining by a user. So it just ask me here, like you can see, enter a number. It just ask in the terminal. So I will enter 30. Yeah. The main thing here is if you just take the value of as input directly, it directly takes the thing as a string data type, not an integer data type. So to get over that, you need to convert typecast it into int. Yeah, 40. Yeah, it just prints 40 plus 10 as 50. But you need to be careful over here that whenever you doesn't typecast over here and just use an input function, it defaultly takes the data as string. Okay. Yeah, getting onto the strings. So string is a data type in Python. String is a sequence of character enclosed in quotes. So how do interpreter knows that whether it is a string or float? So exactly, it can differentiate between float and integer, because if there is a point, it is a float. If there is no existence of point, then it is directly an integer. But how to differentiate it as a string? So if that is enclosed in a single, double, or triple quotes, then it is known as, then the interpreter can understand that it as a string. So here we get a new topic called string indexing. So elements of the string can be individually accessed with the help of the indexing. So if the string has some elements like CSI, and if I want to access the first element of the string, that is C, then I need to access it through indexes. So what exactly is indexing? I just show you here. Let me go on to task manager. So yeah, this I just went to memory. So the memory of our computer just looks like this in a very deep way. The memory is contiguous memory blocks. The memory is located as a contiguous memory blocks. That is like it is located adjacent to every memory block, and each block has a unique memory address, or you can also call it as address value. Okay, so now if I want to access something in memory, okay, let's take a variable and just give it as a CSI. Let's take a variable called a is equals to CSI. Okay, and if I want how firstly this CSI is stored like this in your computer, CSI. And the indexing in Python starts from 0. Be careful that the indexing in Python starts from 0, and this goes up to length minus 1. The indexing goes up to length minus 1 but starts with 0. So the length of the string is 3. So it must start with 0 and it goes with length minus 1, which is 2. 0, 1, 2. So if I want to access this element, if I want to access just this element of C, then I need to access it through this indexes. That is just basically the intuition of indexing is just naming every memory block with numbers like 0, 1, 2, and 3. Then we can also slice the string. A string in Python can be sliced for getting a part of slicing. The index in the string starts from 0 to length minus 1 in Python. In order to slice a string, we use the following syntax: slice of name of start, comma, end. Let me demonstrate the how can we access a string in Python with indexes. Okay, let me create a string called CSI. So to access a string to access the element value of a string, we need to use a square brackets. Okay, now I am entering its indexing value. Now I enter the value of 0. Okay, I just print this. Okay, it just prints C. See, as you can see, it prints C. If I want to access the last element, I need to just get 2. I should not enter this. It has 3. If I enter 3, it just tells an error. Yeah, string slicing. So if I want to slice a part of a string, assume that my string is like CSI is organizing a boot camp. So I need to slice only boot camp or like anything from the string. So that is also possible through indexing. CSI is organizing a boot camp. Okay, I need to access the elements of CSI, only CSI. So how do I access that? I can just slice the string. The syntax of slicing is just the same as the syntax of accessing with indexes, but you have to use a colon. This is the start value. Okay. and you need to enter the end value. There is a plot twist over here, entering the end value. The starting is like 0, 1, and 2. Okay, you have to enter it as 3, not 2, because the first value, the Python interpreter takes the first value as inclusive value, but ignores the last value, because the ending of the string is length minus 1. So it takes only 2. Now it prints CSI. What if I enter as 2? This prints only CS. Okay. Be careful about that, because the first value will be included and the second value will not be included. Like the previous one will be included. Negative indices, yeah, you can also use the negative indices. You can also use the negative indices directly. As we have indexes starting from 0, 1, and 2. The negative indices starts from directly -1, -2, and -3. It starts from 1 to the length of the string. Negative indices starts from 1 to length. You can also access with the negative indices also. As we have seen that slicing with a skip value, we can also provide a skip value as a part of our slice like this. Word is equals to amazing. Yeah. Now we are introduced with another thing, another entity called skip value. So skip value is just nothing but it just skips over a value. Like if you enter some 2, it just skips over 2 variables and prints. Let us see that also. Now I want to print up to 10. I want to slice the string up to 10 with 1. Okay. Obviously, if you doesn't enter anything, it takes as 1 defaultly. It just prints CSI is organizing. Okay, let me increase the length. Okay, CSI is organizing A. So it is completely, it did not ignore any quantity. But I am skipping a value with this. So CIRAIIG. So it is printing C and ignoring yes because I have provided a value of 2. It just goes with the next thing, I. It just prints I and it just ignores the space and just prints and ignores the space and just prints I. Okay, this is the main thing of skip value function. Yeah. Now we are got with string functions and string methods.
Vishnu, sorry for disturbing you. Harika asked Wonder. Just see the chat box. Go to the chat box.
Yeah, is negative integers possible in C or Java? No, it is not possible in C. You can't access the string with the negative indexes in C. Still any doubts?
Yeah, guys, if you're having any doubts, whatever he said in before, you can just drop it in the chat box. We are here to clarify you all of your doubts. If there are no doubts, just give a reactions, thumbs up, so that we can also understand that everything, whatever we are telling you is clear. I think these are like only some small. Okay, cool. I think everyone is clear whatever we have said. Okay, Rohit, you can continue.
So coming to string functions, there are many functions which we can perform with the strings. The first function is length function. This function just returns the length of the string. This function is applicable to every data type. We can just use in a list, tuple, dictionary, and set also. The length function is applicable over all the data types. And string dot ends with. So this is a function where it just sees the last part of the string, and if the last part of the string matches with your entity which you have provided in this as a parameter, then it prints as true, or if it is not, it just prints in false. The string dot count is a function where it counts a variable, the total number of occurrences of a given character. Make sure that it counts the total number of occurrences. And string dot capitalize, it just capitalize the first character of a given string. It just only capitalizes the first character. If you want to capitalize entire characters of a string, then you need to use a function called string dot upper. You need to use string dot upper to just capitalize all the things. And yeah, string dot find. So this function, you have to enter a word or a letter as a parameter, and it just finds whether the word you have entered is there in the string or not. And you need to make sure that it only finds the word in the like in the first occurrence. It finds only in the first occurrence. If the word is repeated 2 times, if you enter the parameter as word, if the word is presented 2 times also, then it prints only at the first, that it gives the index value at only the first occurrence. String dot replace. So the replace function just replaces the old word with a new word. So it replaces the old word with the new word in the entire string. It replaces in an entire string, not at the first occurrence. And yeah, string dot strip. So this removes the white spaces in both the starting and ending of a string. String dot split lines. The split lines, it splits the lines to an elements of the list where escape sequence characters are used. So string dot is lower, and obviously it just goes with string dot is upper. So it just returns true when all the characters in the strings are lowercase. String dot lower just converts all the characters in the string to the lowercase, and you can also probably use string dot upper. There is a main thing that we need to remember. All the string methods does not update the parent string. Because string is immutable data type, so you cannot update the value in a string. We'll see all the functions one by one. So now I'm declaring a string. I want to know the length of the string. Okay, so I just use a function called len of a, and I can directly print, or you can also assign it to a variable and print. You just use the length of the string. Yeah, the length of the string is 29. And the next function is starts with string dot start. Like here the string is a, so a dot starts with. So now I'm taking the value as CSI. It just returns true or false. Yeah, it returns in Boolean, whether it is true or false. If I just enter some random value like something, it just returns in false. Okay. Just going to string dot count. If you want to count a variable in a string for multiple times, so this function will be helpful. String dot count. Here the string is a, so a dot count. So I need to count. Now I will take C. Okay, C is repeated here. I think so 2 times. Yeah. And the CSI is case sensitive. Yeah, the strings are case sensitive, so it counts according to case. Now I'm giving the parameter as C. Yeah, it's written as 2 because C is repeated 2 times. Make sure that this your string is also a case sensitive thing. If it is capital C, it won't count. Yeah. Dot capitalize just capitalizes the first character of a given string. Yeah, string dot find word. There's a twist in this. So a dot find word. So I'm using a find, and okay, now I'll make the string CSI over here also. Let's add CSI. We'll just uncomment all this to avoid confusion. Okay. It is giving the index value of CSI. That is the first value of C, which is 0 here. Okay, the index starts with 0 and the C is also is 0. And the C is also present over here, which is some a random index number. But why it is not returning this? Because the find function only returns the index for the first occurrence, but not for the second or any occurrences. String dot replace. So this function is used to replace the old word with a new word. So now I'll just replace this thing. Replace the okay. Now I will replace organizing with some random thing. Old word, comma new word. So new word is just VS Code. The new word is just VS Code. Yeah. CSI is V Code, a bootcamp CSI. So you can see that the organizing, the string of or the organizing in a string is just replaced by VS Code. Yeah, string dot split lines. Yeah, string dot split. It removes the white spaces in both the starting and ending of the string. Okay, if your string has contains some white spaces in both the starting and ending, just replaces, it just removes all the white spaces. Yeah, it removed all the white spaces, and without this, you can also see over here. Print a. See, this is the original string with the white spaces, but after using the strip function, the white spaces are just removed. Yeah, string dot e is lower and string dot e is upper. So these functions are used to just know whether every character in a string is a lowercase or it is an uppercase. Print of a dot is lower. So here our every character is lowercase. So it returns true because every character is lowercase, right? And if I use string dot upper, it returns false because no character is lowercase. And if you want to make every character in a string to a lowercase or uppercase, we just use a function called a dot upper. So it just makes the thing entire string as upper. Let me comment all this. Say so organizing a bootcamp. The default string is this in a lowercase, just converts all the things into an uppercase. Yeah. Now going on to lists and tuples. So Python lists are containers to store a set of values of any data type. As we have discussed as a variable as a container. So variable is just a container which can store only a single data type, right? But lists and tuples are some entities, obviously data types, which can store different data types. Like it can store strings, it can store Boolean, it can store obviously lists, it can also store tuples, it can also store dictionaries and any data type in a data type. So list can also be accessed through indexing just like a string. And we can also sort the list just like a string. Now, this we just consider the list methods. So list dot sorts. This function just updates the list uh, to some given parameter exactly. So let me take this is a list, right? Yeah. List. I'm taking the list as 1, 2, 3, 4. And I take 1, comma, print 34, comma, 23, comma, 99, random value. Now the sort function just sorts the entire elements of the list in an ascending order. Note that the sort function only makes the list in an ascending order. So list dot sort. And you need to be careful that it also updates the list. So if I directly print list, the list got just updated. Yeah, it has sorted everything in an ascending value. So what if I need to sort a string directly in a descending value? Obviously, you can use a dot sort method and you can use dot reverse method for the updated list such that you can get a descending order. But yeah, there is also a inbuilt function for getting a thing in a descending order. That is a sorted function. The function name is sorted, and you need to enter the parameter as the list basically, and we need to use a object called reverse, and we need to enter this value in a boolean. And note that the function sorted doesn't update the list, rather than it creates a copy of list and just makes some sorting over there. Okay. Now it had printed the values in a reverse order. You can also use this for an ascending order also by entering the value called false. The reverse function just updates. So you need to be careful that the reverse function also updates the list, not it does not create any copy, but it updates the list and just by reversing the elements of the list. Yeah. The next function is very important function dot append. So append is a function which is used to add any value at the end of the list. It only can add at the end of the list, not at the specified place where you need. So if I use a function called append, so my list has 134, 23, 99, and 1093. So if I want to append, some value like 999 or else like 9109, print list. Yeah, it just prints 9109 also. Okay, as I have mentioned it in a string, just print string. If I mention in a way integer, this prints as integer. So it has appended the value at the end of the string, but making sure that remaining the elements are undisturbed. And insert function. The insert function is similar to append function, but where in the append function, it just adds the value at the end of the list. But in the insert function, it just adds the value at the desired index point. If I want to add a value in between the 1 and 34, that is at index 2, then I can make over it. List dot index. Just wait a minute. Sorry for the interruption. Yeah. Now the index takes the index value. Like now I'm adding the value into, and I'm adding the value at the index. And I'm adding the value of 67. function is insert. So it just inserted the value of 67 at the 0 index. Yeah, and coming on to pop, so the pop function is nothing but it just deletes the element in a list with an index value, and the remove function does the same job, but it does remove the value at the index point, like at the value. It just removes the entire value, but the pop just removes it by an index value. Okay. If you want to remove list.pop, I need to pop a value from this list. Then I need to mention it by an index value. Now I'm taking the index value as 0, and I just prints the list. Okay. So as you can see, it has popped the value of 1 and just prints the list. Okay. So if I want to pop the remove the value of a particular value from the list by its element, then I need to use a function called remove. So yeah, I will probably remove 99. Yeah, the count and index. So we have successfully removed the value with the function called remove, and the list.count just counts the value of the parameter, how many times it is just repeating inside the list. So that is basically the count function is, and the index function just returns the index of the first occurrence in the list L1. So with this, we are just winding up the session. We'll continue the list tuples, dictionaries, and functions and recursions in our next bootcamp session, that is like episode 2. So thank you guys.
Yeah, okay. Hello everyone. I'm Lokesh Veelanli. Yeah, that was a very good session. So this is the end of the session. We'll have the next session, which will intimate the timings soon to you. Yeah. Any doubts or queries you can ask. And I want everyone to react with a clap reaction to Rohit Vishnu. If anyone is having any doubt, you can text it in the chat, or you can just raise your hand. I'll let you the Rohit, see the chat section.
Yeah. Okay. We have a question from Bharadwaj. What is the difference between return and print? Okay, so if you are using a function, if you just want to return a value from the function, so you are calling, you have defined a function, right? And you are calling a function from some other, like you are calling a function just. If you want to
Hello, you muted yourself.
So if you want to get the value from the function, you need to use a function. You need to use a function called return. If you want an output from the function, that is, you need to use a print function. That is a major difference. So if you use the print function and you are assuming you're assuming that the function also returns the value, then it is false. It just returns the value as none. It won't return the value, obviously. It just prints the value.
Yeah, I think there are no more doubts. So we'll end this session here. Thank you. I thank everyone for attending this session. See you in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Charananna, can you take the attendance?